Here at Hospital Sultan Idris Shah, Serdang, every single piece of data we collect tells a story. But some of these stories, well, they're more critical than others. Today, we're diving into mortality documentation. And I know, it sounds like paperwork, but I promise you, it's so much more. Think of it as a powerful tool that turns one patient's outcome into a lesson that could shape the future of public health for all of Malaysia.
This quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? That's exactly what we're talking about. Accurate documentation is that essential link, that bridge that lets us see the bigger patterns, maybe even head off the next big outbreak, and design smarter, better health programs. It's all about making sure every single case, every story, contributes to a much clearer picture, not just for us, but for the whole world.
So, let me ask you this. Can a simple form really prevent a crisis? Honestly, absolutely. The information that gets captured on just one death certificate, it feeds into this massive pool of vital statistics that everyone from our own Ministry of Health to the World Health Organization relies on to make literally life-saving decisions. Good data, collected with care, saves lives. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so where does this whole critical data journey even start? Well, it all begins with finding one specific, crucial piece of information, what we call the underlying cause of death, or UCOD for short. I love this analogy. Think of it as the very first domino to fall. It might not be the thing that happened right at the end, but it's the disease or injury that kicked the whole chain reaction off. Nailing down the UCOD is so important because it gives us consistency. It makes sure that the work we do here at Hospital Sultan Idris Shah lines up perfectly with standards all across Malaysia and really across the globe. Let's walk through a real-world example so you can see exactly what I mean. Okay, so in this case, the immediate cause of death was a cerebral hemorrhage. But you have to ask, why did that happen? Well, it was because of brain metastases. And what caused the metastasis? The initial breast cancer. See? That makes breast cancer the UCOD. It was the starting point of this whole tragic sequence. So, how do we capture all this crucial information? The main tool for the job is the Medical Certificate of Cause of Death, or the MCCD. And this isn't some special form we made up. It's a universal format that's recommended by the WHO and used right here at Hospital Sultan Idris Shah. Now, the person filling this out, the certifier, their role is absolutely critical. This isn't just about filling in some blanks on a form. It takes real clinical judgment to paint the full, accurate picture. You have to go way beyond just stating the mode of dying, like cardiac arrest. I mean, cardiac arrest doesn't tell us why the heart stopped. We need the full story, the whole sequence of events. The form itself is actually designed pretty brilliantly to help tell this story. Part 1 is for that direct domino effect we just talked about, that clear causal chain of events. Part 2 is for other important conditions that maybe played a role but weren't part of that direct sequence. So for example, if a patient had diabetes for years and it made everything more complicated, that's what would go in Part 2. And here's a really important tip. Don't forget to add how long each condition lasted. This isn't just extra info, it's like a built-in fact-checker. It helps anyone reading it later to see that the sequence of events you've laid out is clinically plausible. It's all about building a record that's not just complete, but credible. All right, so knowing the structure is one thing, but filling it out correctly, that's what really counts. So let's get practical and break down the major do's and don'ts of getting this right. And this really is the key question for every single certifier, isn't it? How do we tell the story accurately? Because accuracy is everything. Every word you write can affect how a death is classified and, down the line, how healthcare resources get planned out. First up, your language matters. A lot. Be incredibly specific. Instead of just writing cardiac arrest, tell us what caused it, like myocardial infarction. And you've got to connect the dots clearly using phrases like due to, not fuzzy terms like and. Now, when you're dealing with neoplasms, tumors, the details are even more critical for data coding. Was it malignant or benign? Was it the primary tumor or a secondary metastasis? This level of detail is absolutely essential if we want to get accurate statistics on cancer mortality.
And for deaths that happen because of external causes, like an accident, it's always a two-part story. You need to record both the injury itself, the what, and the circumstances that led to it, the how. Traumatic subdural hemorrhage is only half the picture. Car driver collision with bus is what makes it a complete, useful story.
Okay, this is a huge one, and something every certifier deals with. Don't be afraid if you're not 100% certain. Your best clinical judgment is incredibly valuable. Like it says here, writing probable acute coronary syndrome is infinitely more useful for data analysis than just leaving a line blank.
A blank space is a dead end. Probable gives us a direction to follow.
So now let's zoom back out and connect all these details to the big picture. Let's see how one single form, filled out with real care, transforms into data that can give us life-saving foresight.
This timeline shows the data's entire journey. It starts with a doctor's clinical language on the form. That language then gets translated into a standardized code, what we call ICD-11. From there, it's analyzed for quality and trends, and eventually it flows all the way up to inform national and even global health policy. Pretty amazing, right?
And right here at Hospital Sultan Idris Shah, Serdang, our very own Casemix unit plays a vital part in this whole process. You can think of them as the guardians of data quality. They're the ones making sure every story told on an MCCD is coded perfectly, turning it into powerful, reliable data we can all trust.
So, in the end, it all comes down to this one question. Because accurate documentation isn't just about recording an end, it's about helping to prevent the next tragedy. It's about honoring every single life by making sure we learn from it. The next time you pick up that form, what story will your data tell?